Now I'd like to introduce the Manager of Technical Resources for the Art and Design program at Sacred Heart University, Instructor Mike Denysenko.
Thank you. I was raised in a Ukrainian-American household, and for those who share the same distinction, when Ukraine is mentioned, it elicits an emotion. It produces a memory. For example, I may remember my grandmother's stuffed cabbage, or the countless family and church gatherings where seemingly out of nowhere someone would produce an accordion and we would all begin to sing together familiar songs. I may even think of pisanki, which are the beautifully ornate and intricately detailed Easter eggs that Ukrainians are known for. I could go on, but really the point I'm trying to make is simply that we as Ukrainian Americans always attempt to preserve and express our Ukrainian heritage. Growing up, most of my friends knew little to nothing about Ukraine. Yeah, they knew about its involvement with the Soviet Union during the Cold War, and some remember the nuclear disaster in Chernobyl, while some, if any, knew anything about the Holodomor, the 1932 and 33 forced famine that was orchestrated by Joseph Stalin, which resulted in the deaths of millions of Ukrainians. We remember that atrocity here on Sacred Heart University's campus in the form of a monument installed and placed by an oak. It asks that that tree stand in remembrance of all the lives that were lost in that atrocity. These are important points in Ukraine's history, but it's really not how I want people to think of Ukraine. I would rather they think about its beautiful landscapes, its rich and fertile soils. Ukraine is often thought of as the breadbasket of Europe, and rightfully so. It produces 1/5 of the world's wheat, which is pretty amazing. It's said that this war would generate a global shortage of that wheat. And be that as it may, wheat is such an important part of Ukrainian culture. It's expressed in the flag of its nation, the blue at the top of its half symbolizing the sky, and the golden yellow symbolizing the fields of wheat. Many Ukrainian artists have captured the beautiful landscapes of Ukraine. One such artist is very much renowned for his paintings as much as he is for his literary accomplishments. His name is Taras Shevchenko. Shevchenko was born in 1814 into serfdom and was orphaned at a very young age. He showed such immense promise as a painter that he was sent off to St. Petersburg to study as an apprentice. And upon his return to his beloved Ukraine, he discovered that Tsar Nicholas had done everything he could to extinguish all traces of Ukrainian culture. This fueled much of Shevchenko's artistry and literature, which subsequently landed him in prison, where he remained for the rest of his years. But not before he proved to be a huge influence for the people of Ukraine. To quote Taras Shevchenko, "It is terrible to lie in chains and rot in dungeons deep, but it's worse still to be free and sleep and sleep and sleep." You see, Shevchenko understood that freedom was not to be taken for granted, and the soldiers who are fighting in this war understand that more than anything, which is why it's so important for us to support Ukraine